What up, people? It's your boy, Massachusetts out here with a video. First and foremost, Happy New Year. As I mentioned on my comments in my community, I was out of the country. Some much needed R&R. I'm now back in the US and I'm happy to be around. So, to all my subscribers, I want to wish you a Happy New Year. And this new year, I wish much success for all of you. But while I was on break, I managed to basically still keep an eye out on the entertainment field and whatnot, still read Red Hood Outlaws, the stuff I'm reviewing. But one thing I'm getting into is also looking at the field of animation, which I've always been interested in. I've done plenty of reviews on DC animated movies and whatnot. And I can say now, the one thing that's gripping people at the beginning of this year is the current situation that animation finds itself. As we all know, last year, many animation projects were canceled, many shows were canceled, many shows have been removed off their streaming services, never to be seen again. And people can attribute that for a variety of reasons, but we know that the streaming service and the area of animation was initially fed a lie pre and during the pandemic that there was money to be made in animation, which there is, but not in the way that they assumed. So much money was put in, but as you know, there have been economic reasons for this. Studios have been losing money. Studios are not seeing the previous animation projects that they put out generates the interest or the money to justify creating new projects. And as a result, we've seen proper projects, favorites, that have been canceled as a result. And it would seem that in this new year, that the lesson has not been learned. As we can see with Velma, the new, I want to, even calling it a Scooby Doo spinoff is not even the case. It's a parody, but not, it's a parody in the eyes of the audience, but not in the eyes of the studio. Velma, Minnie Kaling's new project, was released yesterday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday, basically. And through that, we see that, it's received what you can expect. Um, if you haven't already seen the trailer, it was pretty bad, as long with the teaser trailer that preceded it. And, the show itself pretty much did all it did, went after fans, pretty much disrespected its source material. It makes a mockery of good storytelling, and at the same time, the animation itself basically has that quasi Cal Art style that is cheap to make and is very uninspiring to the eyes. And as you can even see, they've messed up the quadratic formula, so they're not even serious about Velma's intelligence. But that's neither here nor there. More or less, the fact remains is that money was poured into this. And granted, this managed to survive Zaslav's cuts, even though I believe that in terms of Warner Brothers Discovery, they most likely felt this was cheaper to run than to just outright cancel. In my opinion, I don't believe that this should get a season two, especially with the backlash that has been received not only from the fans but from the critics, which there's been such a divergent gap of views between. And we can see that animated projects like this that disrespect fans, that push people away, that are trying to search for the audiences that will not watch it, though they claim to support it, once again goes into the idea of money. And as a result, terrible projects are getting pushed and then canceled, while good projects grab their audience but then are canceled. And I'll leave it to those who have watched it to review it. I'm not watching it, definitely. Um, Not even to hate watch it. I'm not interested in it. That's how I approached Big Mouth after season two, because they went a little bit too far, and I will approach it with this. But as I said, good shows are getting affected by mediocrity that's being pushed around like Velma, and it's affecting the whole animation industry and the quality that's produced. Why do I say it? Because we go to the next one, Pantheon. Now, you all know that I've reviewed Pantheon. I've watched all 8 episodes and reviewed about 6 of them, yes. And Pantheon was a great show. It was fantastic. It was very good. It was well animated. The story was great. It was pushing new boundaries in animation, which I thought was a very, very good idea. But as we see here, I didn't even know. Apparently, last week it was scrapped, or a few days ago, 5 days ago, this Sunday or so, scrapped because, as we can see here, it's pretty short. We can see here exclusive animated drama series Pantheon, which stars the voices of Daniel Day Kim, Paul Dano, and Taylor Schilling, is the latest series to be scrapped at AMC Networks. Unfortunately, because I thought that AMC, they're trying to get into the streaming business and they try to do their own animation. This was ambitious, but I felt that they were successful. I felt they had a hit on their hands. Said the series was canceled after one season despite a two-season order and pulled from AMC's streaming service as part of the company's cost-cutting drive. The season two, the second season, which had been produced, will not air. And as you can see, the main thing, cost cutting. Streaming is expensive. The pandemic is no longer a factor in what people thought. Um, it's no longer a factor in what people thought. We're no longer staying in. Streaming is no longer going to be a major part of our lives. People are out. People want to be out. People want to see people. And so basically, we can see that you know, you can no longer require people to be paying for every single subscription because they're going outside, because they won't be going outside. Now, in this case, basically, whatever project is made better make money, or the studio itself needs to be making money. And as you can see, a couple of other shows have received a treatment for a one-time tax write-down at the end of the year. The write-down features around $400 million of content and was revealed in an SEC filing. So $400 million of AMC Plus content was basically written off for tax purposes. And then they say, as a result of the plan, programming assessments pertain to a broad mix of owned and licensed content, including legacy television series and films that will no longer be in the active rotation on the company's linear or digital platforms. The company may realize some future licensing and other revenue associated with some of the owned titles. The company noted in the 8K film. But anyway, we see that Pantheon was created by Craig Silverstein, who signed an overall deal with AMC Studios in 2021. It's based on a short stories by Ken Liu. I did my research on it, and it's based pretty much on a anthology of Chinese stories, and they managed to put Pantheon as a result of looking into uploaded intelligence and the morality of technology and all that type of stuff. That was impressive and very impressive. And then, of course, there was a long journey too. It said Pantheon had a long journey to the screen. AMC opened a writer's room in August of 2018. 4 years ago, as of December, before handing it a two-season order in March of 2020. And the first season, which consists of 8 episodes, launched on September 1st, which was fantastic television. And season 2 has been produced, but will not air on AMC Plus. But while I don't know what to say, I do hope, but I ultimately think I doubt it. They are saying there's a small chance that AMC students will be able to shop it elsewhere, as it is hoping to do for its other canceled shows. I would like to see if Netflix would pick it up. That would be a good place for it. Or maybe Apple TV. I'm not sure. But right now, Pantheon is canceled, and until we hear such news, it's over. And as you know, they give basically, the synopsis of the whole thing. And the cast and crew, a very solid A1 cast. And this was William Hurd's this was his posthumous last project before he sadly passed away in 2022. And what do I say to that? You can see that something like Pantheon, which had the potential to revitalize the animation industry, really could have made big waves, was gone as a result of basically pushing mediocrity in shows like Velma and shows like other types of things like Thundercats Roar or Steven Universe or Aquaman or the freaking She-Ra or there's so many terrible, terrible animated projects that were popping up just because people saw it as, oh, animation's easy money. And I have to say, unfortunately, between for the last 10 years or so, it has been the case. Where in 2013 we saw basically animation trying to was basically evolving, where you had the Thundercats reboot, you had Young Justice, you had people try their hands with CGI in terms of Green Lantern and Beware the Batman. You had, just a wide variety of shows, but somewhere along the way, people thought that, oh, if we just use cheap animation and then we just do the bare minimum of plot and then inject a little bit of modernity into it, of current day, of the real world, you know, that'll be the case. And we've seen from time and time again animation like starring the Forces of Evil, where cheap animation, oh, it started well, but then people lost the plot and people were disappointed and nobody talks about the show again. Same thing with Steven Universe, and that had its stands, definitely, but nobody talks about it anymore. And then you had Thundercats Roar, Cal Art style, bam. You had that Aquaman thing, Cal Out Star, bam, done, done. Didn't even last up to a year. 3 episodes of that Aquaman show, gone, basically. All of these shows that are doing the Shiro thing claim to have 5 seasons in 2 years. Yeah, yeah, nobody believes that, basically. Um, that's been taken care of, and people are looking to rectify that issue. We've had our gems in animation, no doubt, from the studios that produce basically Castlevania, um, basically Sesmanos, Zeus, Blood of Zeus, basically. You've also had a couple other things. Netflix was really, to their credit, leading the charge, where I believed animation would save them. But that's not the case. And animation's suffering as a result. People are losing jobs, unfortunately. And good, solid shows like Pantheon is getting axed in the name of mediocrity like Velma. And I'm not sure if things will be changing soon in that case. However, I do believe that there can be some hope, basically. And that brings me to Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Now, I felt last year had a couple of animated gems. Obviously, Disney failed horrifically with Lightyear and Strange World bombing, and nobody wants to hear those shows again. But Universal DreamWorks had two solid animated shows like, of course, The Bad Guys, and of course now Puss in Boots. And then, of course, I guess you could call Sonic animated, but then again, it is a video game live action mix. But Sonic Prime was also very good as well. And people liked Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, where now you've got people calling it the best Shrek film. Of course, this has been the first film dealing with that Shrek universe since 2011, basically. And we see that the animation I saw in the trailer was fantastic. People liked the story, people liked the villain, people liked the characters. It was a spectacular thing. And as we know, this cost 90 million to make, and as I see now, it is probably going to go into 220 million, making profit. Just like the bad guys made profit, like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 made profit. All of those years, all of those animated, and it's clear that they delivered on a fine piece of animation. That the animation was good, the story was great, the audience was not insulted, the fans were embraced, and people came and they walked with their dollars and made peace with their wallets to support it. And there we got it. And so there's hope that in 2023, it'll take some time for the healing process to begin. Granted, you've got Super Mario Brothers, the Mario World coming up. Basically, I expect great things from that, and that's the only animated film that I know of that'll be coming out. Unfortunately, it'll only get it'll get worse before it gets better, but it can get better. And something like Puss in Boots gives me hope. And we can just hope that maybe Pantheon gets shopped around, but one has to basically keep their hopes up. or have to be or practice a little bit of skepticism. But until then, we got to deal with this Velma. And of course, they'll provide content for those who obviously have to stay for the show, which I will support. But at the same time, it's detrimental to the industry as a whole. But what can one do? So, thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications to ensure that you're notified and get notified pristinely when I release videos. Once again, I do these type of videos for you, the people, because we want to discuss fields like this, animation, and get your views on them. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope to have more videos up pretty soon. Of course, I will definitely be reviewing Red Hood Outlaws, the webtoon, when it comes out this Sunday. Till then, thank y'all for watching. Peace.